Hello, welcome back to another episode of Wryne's Wasteland Camp Reviews / Dumpster Fires of the Commonwealth. This here is Calamity. I'm on my alt account right now. I'm going to try and record a couple episodes for you guys on this server if I'm lucky. This server is one of those rare ones where they have dropped the nukes, all of them. So I don't know how long people are going to be here, but it should give us some interesting stuff to look at least. So we're going to go look Elric Voss's camp right over here and see what he's got going on. Now, the only other Elric that I've ever seen is Elric Legris, and this ain't his camp for sure. You know how I can tell? It's prefab. Elric tends to build his own stuff. Let's take a quick peek here. So we've got a prefab, we've got the classic greenhouse out back that wraps around the back of the building and has two entrances. It also has their acid extractor in it. You've got your vendors up here on the porch and one in the back. I'm guessing they're kind of hedging their bets as to where you'll wind up at. They've got a 10,000 cap water cooler, which actually isn't a bad price, and neither is the prices on their flux. They have for sale. So overall, not bad. Some things are a little expensive, some things not so much. It really depends on what it is. This prefab though is the new one, so it only uses about 1% of your budget. So you have a lot of budget to, well, decorate with. And they have a water cooler room, a work room, Michael Jackson's bedroom. Yeah. So if you build in a prefab, I give you 2 points. If you have a bathroom, I give you 1 point. If you don't have a bathroom, I don't give you a point. I mean, I've given out a 10 before for a camp with no bathroom, but that camp had, like, you know, special circumstances where it was like flying up in the air and different things like that. And it didn't have so many empty rooms and so much budget left over that you could pretty much do whatever you wanted to with it. This camp should have a ton of budget. And I just mean a ton of budget that you can play with. I mean, you could have made a kitchen. You could have made anything you wanted. They've got guns out. Well, here's the thing. They've got guns out in an area where you don't really need them. You might need one, but not to the extent that they have them out. That's for sure. I mean, they've got cows. They've got way more power than they have stuff out to use it. I mean, don't get me wrong. The water purifiers use a lot, and if you actually run it right, you can use up a lot of power. Well, I guess they do have that out too. But still, I mean, their budget, they should have a ton of budget left. So, 2 points for the prefab, 1 point for the greenhouse. I'm gonna give him a 3. I'm not gonna give him anything more than a 3. It doesn't really deserve anything more than a 3. It's basically a resource camp, and it's doing what it's supposed to do, but that's about it. Moving right along. We will go over here, and I know some people don't build camps for, you know, fun, and it's not their bag, so to speak. But at higher levels, that's all you got, really, because the camp system is pretty much what winds up being the end game play in this game, because, well, the content eventually peters out. If you're lucky and you're a newer player, it's going to take you about 60 to 80 hours to go through everything that they've got. By then, if you're really lucky, that new content they've got coming out will be out. You'll be able to do that. Or you'll have skipped 1 or 2 things that somebody can tell you about that you can go try out. This camp over here, again, is a Well, I mean, it's kind of a look at me style camp. They've got a bunch of their stuff on display, power armor frames and things like that. Nothing really in them. A few guns to deal with the stuff that shows up here. The cool part about this camp's location is um, you can get sentry bots and things that may spawn right here in the middle of it, and there's one coming down this way now. They have their own weather system thing in here, which is why it's all kind of gray and ugh. Um, so, got their little camping bedroom, and they got a trailer over here with their workbenches in it and a few other little odds and ends. I mean, it's like I said, this is one of those look at me camps. Look at all the stuff that I got. I have no idea what to do with it, but look at all the stuff that I got. Isn't it cool? Isn't it? The stuff is cool. The fact that you have no idea what to do with it is not. You live in a house or an apartment, so I'm going to assume that you have that. You put out at least one outhouse, so I can give you a point for that. You have this lovely little circus box. Circus, afro, circus, afro, circus, afro, circus, afro. But I mean, either the server is dying, which I wouldn't doubt, or there's absolutely nothing in their vendor, which is fine too. But it's like, there's just nothing, I don't know. There's nothing special about this. They get a 1. Totally. Just a 1. That's because they put out the outhouse. I wouldn't call this a dumpster fire, but I wouldn't call it something I would want to have around either. It's just not. It's nothing. I mean, it's like I walked into IKEA and they're displaying little rooms of furniture, but they're not actually doing anything with them. That's what this place reminds me of. All right. I'll go ahead and check out one more, and we'll go over here to Offbeat Paradox's camp because Offbeat Paradox is just a cool name. Okay, so they've got this statue here acting as a support for the corner, which makes sense. I mean, it's 2 stories. Well, actually, I think it's almost like 2 stories total. It's like a story and a half tall, though. You've got Mistress of Mystery sit down here, the warehouse set. Um, that is the pit set, the standard brick set, and the foundations are from the vault set. You've got vendor bot back here, who is like, basically the vendor bot that everybody loves at the moment because he's, animated and he's not making a bunch of crazy noises and he kind of reminds me of a flasher. You got a bowling alley, which is kind of a weird place to put the bowling alley at the foot of the stairs, but hey. You've got stuff from the in-game events like the Tunnel of Love and the Wild West Showdown over at Nuka World. Random things from different little in-game events and random things from scoreboards and things that you find in the Wasteland. Uh, they've got a circus vendor here as well, just like the last person. They've got a set of water for people that need it. And they've got different wallpapers and flooring on the interior. And their game room And that's what this would be. You'd have like a game room in here with like your different games and probably a beer freezer, to be honest. Then up here you've got a bedroom with a starry night pattern, and you've got a bit of a music room and a few little odds and ends for when you need it. You got a couple garden tiles out here, even though you have plenty of garden space out there. But by putting it up here, if it gets attacked, which it would get attacked here by uh, mole rats, as well as dogs, super mutants, and general rats seem to spawn in this area quite a bit. Um, Gives you a nice area for them to be safe and out of the way. You've got your workroom down here with all of your little odds and ends benches. So, I mean, not a bad little setup. Bonus points for the offset stairs. Getting those in is not an easy task and can be a pain in the butt. But it's a nice touch. Decent collections. I mean, this camp, like the last camp, has a lot of things in it that they have collected and accumulated throughout the course of the game that we are playing. They are showing off those things while still presenting a camp that looks like a camp. Design choices and things like that are not the same ones I would make, but they're not horrible either. I mean, this right here, I love the lattice work thing. And I want to say this is from the last thing on the scoreboard, so they've finished that already. But it's just a nice overall camp. It's not pretty, but it's decent. It looks like, something other than a flat plane of garbage stuck out like you're having a frickin' yard sale. So, on my scale of 1 to 10, he doesn't have a bathroom. I did not see a toilet anywhere in here. I didn't see an outhouse. I didn't see a loo. I didn't see anything that you could, anything that you'd consider a bathroom. So he's not getting a point for that. And he's not using a prefab, so he can't have those 2 points either. But overall, I mean, I'm going to give this one a nice 6. It deserves a 6. It's not perfect. It can definitely be improved, and it can definitely be tweaked, but it definitely deserves at least a 6. Now, that being said, I have this weird habit. Every time I go somewhere and this guy can spawn in, he has almost always spawned in ever since I started this game. With all of my characters, at one point or another, they always will run into this guy at various locations. And I usually run into him like 3 or 4 times a week once it starts as a cycle. So I'm just going to go ahead and double check, because I honestly didn't remember if she had the recipes. But anyway, this is like my favorite NPC in the game. I wish that I could get like somebody like him at my camp versus the camp allies that they give us, because this has more character than they do, in my opinion. Especially more so than like the little girl or, you know. Plus, I just like it. I would like to have a vendor bot that's this. This is what I would like for a vendor package. You have this guy here. He's a harker. He yells. He gets your attention. You come to him. And he has your stuff in his inventory that he sells for you. I think that would make a nice vendor package. I mean, don't get me wrong. The robot that we have now is pretty cool. But this one here would, if they did what I'm saying, that would be awesome. It would just add a whole different dimension to the camp, to be honest. So, if you like this stuff, subscribe. If you want to try out the camp challenge video, the camp contest that I put together is still running through the 29th of February. of 2024. After that, it'll be something different. I'm going to try and do a camp contest every 2 months. That'll give you 2 months to build something. Each one will be themed in its own right. The current one that's running, the theme is really simple. Whenever you build a camp, try and build it to the icon that you pick for your camp. That's it. So if you build a camp that looks like a cabin, it's a cabin. If you build a camp that looks like a farm, it's a farm. That kind of thing. A house is a house, raiders are raiders, boats are boats, trains are trains, that kind of thing. Not a big deal. If you like the idea and want to give it a shot, join my Discord, submit your camp entrances under contest there, and on the 29th, the thing will close, and it will close at midnight on the 29th of February in 2024. And then I will put out a video within 4 days of who won. And I will explain to you who won. So, if you're cool with that and you want to participate, there you go. Good luck and have fun.